Okay, so let's learn to slice and extract data from tables, matrices, and vectors. I'm going to load this data set here, carsmall.mat, which is found in the Statistics and Machine Learning toolbox. Okay, so the easiest way to create a table is either to directly load it from a data set or to assemble it from a list of column vectors using the table command. Okay, so in this case I built the T table from these column vectors. Okay, so we can click on it to see it. And the interesting thing about tables is that it has a number of other properties beyond, for example, data sets or arrays. Like, for example, you can sort input units or the description of each column. And you can also put the description of the table, change row names, and other things that we're going to see. Okay. So another interesting thing you can do is, for example, come here, click and drag change column orders. You can click on a column, come here in plots, do a histogram. Okay. And for example, if you want that chart in your notebook, there we go, keyboard. And let's do a 3D scatter, for example. Right. Let's say I want to put this on my notebook. Right. I can close it, come down here. Everything I do in tables gets recorded down here in the command window. So I can just copy, paste that on my notebook, and execute it. Right, and that gets inserted into my notebook. So like R, table also has the head command. You can choose the number of the top rows you want to see, just to kind of see the structure of the table. You can grab one of the columns by using the table name, dot, and then the column name. And in this case here, I'm transposing the acceleration column, so I'm going to get a row vector. Okay. You can extract an array from a table, and note here that I'm using curly brackets instead of parentheses, and we're going to see why down below. Okay. So I extracted the first 5 rows of the table. Similarly to matrices and arrays, we can select slices also, right? So I can get just a row, again using the curly brackets, or just the third column. Okay. To extract a particular element, I just specify, row column. I get that number out. 350. We can, rather than using columns, specify exactly which rows and which columns we want. So this grabs rows 1 and 2, columns 1, 3, and 4. Now, here's the thing that we were going to talk about. If I use the extraction commands with parentheses, what I get is a table as a result. So if I want to extract a table from a table, I use parentheses. If I want to extract an array from a table, I use the curly brackets. Okay. If I want to extract all elements into an array, I can also use the variables property. So here I'm going to extract all elements of the table into matrix M. Okay. And we need to pay attention to this because most MATLAB functions expect an array and not a table as input. So here I'm going to do the dot product, transpose the displacement column, and multiply it, and do the dot product of the second column. Okay. If you use parentheses, this is going to return a table, and then dot product doesn't know what to do with it, and you get an error. Okay. If you want to replace a certain column of a matrix with a constant, you're going to use this format, right? All rows, the third column, and you're going to use parentheses because you're doing it to an array. So there I replaced all column 3 with 2's, right? You can do the same thing on a table, just remembering that you're going to use curly brackets. Okay, so there, everything got replaced on row 1 for 5's. You can see what other things you can change on a table using the dot properties property. And you can see that you have description, you have variable names, row names, variable units. When you put a unit here, that actually gets added here as a property. Okay. So for example, changing the description, you can see there, description got added. You can create a calculated column. Remember, just if you're doing element-wise operation, you have to use dot times, right? So here I'm multiplying the cylinder columns times the displacement and creating a new column called volume. So you can see that volume got created here and there. Okay. You can do the summary of a table, and that will give you the mean, the median, and the max, and it will also show the values missing, which is very useful for statistics. So here, if I want to look at the variable names of specific columns, I can just ask, for the columns I want, and it will give me the names of those columns. And you can do the opposite, which is, specifying the column number and then passing a string, and that will change the name for that specific column. Okay. Um, so here's something we need to pay attention. When, let's say I want to fill a table with a random numbers, right? If I just use the random function to create a 2 by 2 random number array, that's going to get added as one variable in a table. Okay, so var1 actually has a 2-column vector matrix. Okay, so if I try to change the name of these columns when this was created as a single variable, I'm going to get an error. Okay, so the way to do this correctly, let's click here. The way to do this correctly is to actually create two separate one-column vectors, right? So I'm creating a vector of 2 rows here and another column vector of 2 rows here, and then building the table out of that. Then I can change the column names to noise and response. And you can also change row names. Okay. Sample 1 and sample 2. You can use the colon operator to create tables, right? The semicolon tells you that you're going to change lines, and then you just specify from initial and end value for each line. Okay, and then you can extract the diagonal of that table just using the diag. Notice again that I'm using curly brackets because diag needs an array as an input. And here's another way you can extract all elements of a table. Just use colon, comma, colon. Okay. This is something else you need to pay attention. When I create a 5 by 5 identity using the I command, again, this is going to be input as a single variable, correct? So ta.var1 has a 5 by 5 matrix. If I then use the index to try to access the second line, first column, right? Try to access the 0. Because var1 has a 5 by 5 matrix, it actually returns the full second line. Okay, so if you want, if you actually want the second row first element, doing it this way, you have to first say dot var1, and then that you want the second line, first column of this variable. Then you're going to get the 0. Okay. So let's see how, for example, we could create a table to plot a function, right? So first on my x column, I'm creating a vector that goes from 0 to 5 with a 0.1 step, okay? And then for my response, or my y, I just take each of the x's with the element-wise operator. I'm squaring and subtracting 3 times again with the element, with the dot, which is the element-wise operator, 3 times x minus 1. And I'm going to input that on my response column. And I'm going to clear TA because it has something in it already. And then just create the table by assembling the column vectors. There we go. And then I can just plot the figure. Cool. All right, and the last comment I want to show is I'm not going to get into details because you can do like a whole video on timetables. There are special commands and that kind of thing. But the interesting thing about them is that you have a whole set of operations to manipulate times and to synchronize two different timetables if you want to do that. And it's very useful for time series analysis, right? So I'm going to load another data set, see the first 5 elements, and for example, if I want to create a window, this data set has 3 or 4 days. So let's say that I want to extract from the 16th to the 17th, right? So beginning on the 16th, ending on the 7th, before the first record of the 17th, right? So I can just create this filter, which is called the time range, pass the dates that I want to filter, and then do outdoors, and since this is the specification of the rows, and then all columns. Okay. So that goes and filters out for me all the records from the 16th. And you can see here that outdoors is a timetable with 51 rows and 3 columns. Okay. And it's interesting. It shows that it's a timetable with a little different icon. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.